Hello everybody, this is Nathan from SonarVision. Today I am re-recording an English voiceover for this tutorial that I originally recorded in French to show you how to prepare a route using the SonarVision online editor. So let's say a friend of mine, Michel Dupont, sent me a message to say that he requested a route on SonarVision. He's shared with me his login, email, and password, so we're going to prepare that route. First thing to do is to go to the SonarVision website. I'll search for SonarVision on Google, click on it, then click on Login. I will enter my friend's email and password. And that's going to take me to the home page. So I can see the route that was requested today, and I'm going to start preparing it by clicking on Verify Route. So click that, and the route appears. We can see a few things here. There are 2 points corresponding to personal addresses colored in red, and we have warnings telling us that they haven't been verified yet. And below there's a route between domicile, which is the home, and the API DV association, which is where he wants to go. So quick note, the start and end points are completely interchangeable, and routes can always be traveled in both directions. So step 1 is to correctly place the start and end points. Let's begin with home. So I'm going to zoom in, and we can see that the point was just created automatically from the entered address. But right now it's in the middle of the building, whereas the entrance door is most likely on the facade here, somewhere along this line. We have several map backgrounds available, and I'm going to select some satellite imagery, which lets us see things clearly from above. Now we can see the facade with the street and the sidewalk highlighted in blue. This works in Paris thanks to Paris-specific data that we've added to the map. So I'm going to click on Edit because we'll probably need to move this point to somewhere on the facade here. But the big question is the point going to be up here or down there? Like, it's going to be up there or here. That's hard to tell because we cannot actually see the door. Luckily, we have a great tool, which is the Apple or Google panoramic imagery. So if I hover over these buttons, a crosshair appears in the center of the screen. I'll position the crosshair somewhere in the street. I'm also going to switch back to the OpenStreetMap background. So we are near number 4 here. I'll place my crosshair and open the images. So now I can see the panoramic imagery around the building that corresponds to my friend's home. We can clearly see the accessibility ramp for wheelchairs, so that must be the main entrance. We can also see this parking area marked as paid. We can identify the edge of number 4. And so on this side, that would be number 6. And on the other side is going to be number 2, which is this Renault building. So we're going to be somewhere between these two, and we also know that the door is on the left. So back on the map, the building shape is correctly drawn. Renault is on the right, number 6 is on the left, and we are in the middle. To align our point with the entrances, we need to shift it to the left by about 1/4 of the building's width, as we saw in the imagery here. So I will place it right around here. And that should put the building entrance quite accurately positioned. So that's the method. If you want to be really sure, we can go ahead and open the aerial imagery again. So here's the parking. It's subtle, but you can see the 2 white triangles and dashed line. If we go back to the panoramic imagery, we're going to see the same 2 white triangles and dashes. And so we know that we're aligned roughly with the middle left of this parking spot which matches what we drew, as you can see. So this gets easier with practice. I'll save this point by marking it as verified. So we can open it, then click on verified button, and then save it. So we are now going to do the same thing for the destination point. So let's move over to the end of the route, and we're going to look on OpenStreetMap, and we see that it is located at the 5 Avenue Daniel Le Sueur. But again, it's the middle of the building, and we need to adjust it. So we move it over here to the facade, and we are going to open the Google imagery, Street View imagery again, in the middle of the street here. And we are going to look for clues as to where this door might be compared to the aerial imagery. So there's this door here, which is not the door we're looking for. We're looking for this door specifically. And there's not much on the floor. There's no better image, like there's no properly aligned image with the door. We see this parking booth and 2 protrusions, let's say bumps on the facade. And I think we'll be able to see those from the sky. And we want the left bump. So we go back to our satellite imagery here, and we can see those 2 bumps clearly from the sky here. And so we are going to want to be underneath the left one. So let's move our point over here. Let's adjust the trip. And there you go. So if you want to be extra sure about how to, if we are perfectly aligned with this door, there's another ways we can use the Apple imagery. So we were previously using the Google imagery. So let's place our cursor right above the point that we just added, and let's open the Apple imagery. So we see this red marker, which is opened exactly on the position that our cursor was on. And as you can see in the bottom left, the imagery is pointing straight at this marker. So that's one of the great benefits of this Apple imagery. So when I click on it, we see that we are perfectly aligned, which means that the red marker was placed on the door, which means that our point was correctly placed on the door in the SonarVision platform. So there is a small bug, which is that when we minimize this window, the camera icon on the map isn't correctly aligned. Like it said that it was there, but that's not where it was. It was right here. So that's just a bug in Apple Maps right now. It's a beta version, so just disregard that for now. So yeah, this tool is really useful to verify when we're right in front of the door. So at this stage, we've got the 2 points correctly placed in front of their entrances, and I'm going to save the arrival point and mark it as verified. There you go. So this brings us to our next step, which is to define the general route that we want to use. Which sidewalks do we want to follow? Which crosswalks do we want to use? And for that, we are going to use a tool called waypoints. And that's going to allow us to calculate new routes really quickly. So starting from here, we're going down the right-hand sidewalk of, what is this street already? The General Bertrand, and we're crossing here on the left. We keep going down Rue du Roc. But what if, say, I wanted to go and cross here instead, so that we could use the right-hand sidewalk of Rue du Roc? So to do that, I would right-click and then add a waypoint. And as you see, the trip is recalculated automatically. And so now we can use the right-hand sidewalk for this trip. And all right, to give another example, I can add more waypoints to create a little diversion here, during which, if I arrange them in the correct order, I can just cross the street to avoid this crossing here if that was my desire, which it is not today. So let's remove them. And then for the rest of the trip, well, everything seems to be, in general, what I want. So this works in Paris, in Lyon, in Angers, another French city, and in a number of American cities where we have a complete cartography of crossings, sidewalks, stairs, and other pedestrian ways on OpenStreetMap. So I'll get back to how to check and how to add more data to OpenStreetMap in further videos. But for now, this video is focused on how to do it if there is a complete cartography. So last thing here, it's very easy to change the position of these waypoints. And it's important to save your work because, as we're going to see, if you move your waypoints in the future, you will lose any manual changes that you've added by dragging the trip around. So that brings us to one of the final steps in the process of making a trip with the SonarVision editor, and that is to remove any small artifacts that are left over by the automatic itinerary router. So in this area of Paris, we've spent a lot of time making it nice and clean, so there aren't that many artifacts, but you will sometimes see small zigzags before and after crossings that you might want to smooth out for a better experience. Right here, this line can be set as a traffic island, so you can right click on it and switch it over to another tag, in this case, a traffic island. So that was going to tell the user that they've arrived on a traffic island and not just on another sidewalk. In this example here, it looks like the crossing is kind of off to the side, whereas in general it should be right in the middle. However, the actual crossing is off to the side compared to the imagery, and that happened due to construction work that occurred really recently. So try and also go outside and actually verify some of this imagery, as it can get outdated and obsolete pretty quickly. All right, and so then as we get towards the end of our trip, we can see that here the trip goes left and follows the curvature of this classical Haussmannian Paris building. And so nothing stops us from having the trip follow the curvature of the building a little more. And if we place the trip like so, it'll result in a smoother experience for the user that we are guiding. The last thing that you can really do to make sure that this trip is, as good as possible is to actually try and do it yourself by going outside with the app and doing it. And so the last thing to do is just to click on verified here and then save your trip. And at this point, the user will get a notification on their app that tells them that the trip has been verified and that it's ready to be used. And there you have it. That was an example of a simple route between two addresses. SonarVision has many more tools, some to edit multiple routes at once, some that can help you handle very long journeys, and in particular, tools to help you edit trips in areas without pedestrian mapping where the automatic itinerary router doesn't work. But we'll cover those topics in future videos. I hope that this first tutorial is going to help you get started, and I'm going to keep creating more in order to help you get the most out of SonarVision and this editing platform. That being said, have a great day and see you soon.